If you're just getting into silver, or maybe you inherited a coin collection and you aren't sure what you're looking at, this video is for you. Good morning, it's today again. Welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. I'm Joseph, and I store 20% of my income in the form of rare coins and precious metals. One of the most confusing parts about silver isn't actually the price, it's just understanding what you're actually looking at. The good news is that nearly all silver falls into these three categories, and once you understand them, everything else starts to make sense. Emmanuel took the first once again. Congratulations. If you'd like to be shouted out, make sure you get to the comments first. Before I move on, I actually have another shout out. Today is actually my birthday, and a close family friend, the Sandersons, actually gave me this beautiful display for the back of my videos. I don't know if y'all will be seeing this, but regardless, thank you so much. When people first encounter silver, the instinct is to usually look at each individual piece. Is this one rare or is this one better? The fastest way to understand silver, whether you're buying it or sorting through what you already own, is to stop looking at each individual piece and start categorizing them by types. Almost every piece of silver you'll see fits into these three categories: generic silver, sovereign coins, or constitutional, also just called circulated silver. Generic silver is made by private companies. This includes most bars and many silver rounds. These pieces are produced by refineries and private mints with very straightforward goals: turn raw silver into a tradable form as efficiently as possible. The design usually doesn't matter much, and the brands might matter a little, but in most cases the market treats generic silver the same way. An ounce is an ounce. If you've inherited silver bars or simple looking rounds with no face value, this is likely what you're looking at. Generic silver usually carries the lowest premium because you're paying almost entirely for the metal itself. Its role is simple: exposure to the silver as a metal without extra layers of collectibility or government backing. To immediately contrast this, the next category is sovereign silver coins. These are coins issued by governments and backed by national mints. Examples of this include the American Silver Eagle, the Canadian Maple, and the British Britannia. If the silver you're holding has a country's name, a face value, and a design that is widely recognizable, it probably falls into this category. Sovereign coins tend to hold higher premiums than generic silver. You're not just paying for the metal, you're paying for the recognition, the trust, and the liquidity. These coins are easy to identify and authenticate, and easy to sell almost anywhere. That government backing gives people confidence, especially the new buyers, and the market reflects that in the higher premium. Something that tends to confuse people looking into silver for the first time is these bars. I have here a 100-gram bar from Scottsdale Mint. This is about 3.2 ounces, and we'll compare it to this 5-ounce round from the same company. These are both poured bars, but they are by a company, the Scottsdale Mint. These are all generic ounces. They're treated the same as a generic 1-ounce silver round, including this 10-ounce bar from the Germania Mint, which is also just another privately owned mint. Other than the company logo, these are only marked with the weight and purity, and that's what defines it as a bullion product. These are just valued at the silver weight. Again, to contrast that, some bars are made by governments, and these would actually be called coin bars. These ones I have here are by Australia. You can see there is a denomination of $1, and the year, of course, it also says Australia on it. These ones are particularly some of my favorite. They do have the dragons on them. If you look through any of my content, you'll likely find at least one dragon piece in each video. And Australia in particular makes beautiful dragon coins. This is a 5-ounce Year of the Dragon from 2024, and it's one of my favorite coins that I have. Notice that I said coins because this one is actually backed by the Australian government and denominated. Even though it's a 5-ounce product and not only 1 ounce of silver, it can still be considered a coin. Then I do also have some 1-ounce bars that are counted as generic silver. This one is made by Monarch Precious Metals and does have the 1 troy ounce and the 3/9 fine purity stamped on it. When you're buying or selling these products, it's most important to understand whether or not these are generic ounces or if the ounces of silver that are made up into this product are government backed and then considered coins. The third category is constitutional silver, or what I like to call circulated silver. These are coins that were originally used for everyday spending and contain a significant amount of silver. And this wasn't just a United States thing. This is countries all over the world issued coins in silver. Many of them circulated widely before being replaced by base metals. The important point here in constitutional silver is that the silver content is not stamped on the coin itself. It's understood from the coin's denomination and the historical legal documents that define how much silver was in each coin. Collectors rely on these standards to identify the silver content rather than looking at markings on the coin itself. For the United States, the story is fairly simple. Coins minted before 1965, dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars were made up of 90% silver and 10% copper. From 1873 all the way to 1964, the United States used a very specific standard of weight that, after assuming a little bit of wear, the $1.40 was equivalent to 1 troy ounce of silver. However, starting in 1965, the United States reduced the silver content in its coins. Dimes and quarters removed all silver, while half dollars minted from 65 to 1970 contained 40% silver. Then continuing from there, Eisenhower dollars were introduced, and those made from the San Francisco Mint between 1971 and 1976 were also made using this 40% silver content. Notably, in 1976, the United States struck special bicentennial quarters, half dollars, and dollars that were also struck in 40%. Later, the United States started to make commemorative dollars and proof sets that were sold directly to collectors instead of being circulated themselves. Premiums on this constitutional silver work a little bit differently. You're not paying for modern minting or flashy designs. You're paying for familiarity, diversity, and a historic role that these coins play in everyday life. Depending on market conditions, some of this constitutional silver can even be bought at spot, meaning no premium or close to the low premium of a generic silver. To practice identifying all these different types of coins, I want to use a purchase I just made yesterday. So this coin here, you can see that there is the 2025 at the bottom, and when we flip it over, you can see the United States of America as well as the $1 and 1 ounce fine silver. This makes this an American product. This is an actual sovereign coin from the U.S. Mint. These in particular are one of the most recognizable bullion coins and hold the highest premium of bullion silver outside of specific collectibles. So this American Silver Eagle will be the one that you spend the most on, but also get the most money back in return. When we take a look at this next silver here, you can see a date at the bottom, 1804. Anything that has a much older date like this, you should immediately be cautious. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other side. You can see that it says the King of American Coins and copy right there on the bottom right hand side. So this is actually a 1 ounce generic round that is designed after an American dollar from 1804. The 1804 is considered one of the most beautiful and most rare American coins that was ever made. And for a generic company to copy a design like this is not uncommon. So be aware that these exist and do your best not to get confused between these generic ounces and the actual coin product. Next up, this one has a year, a denomination, and even a mint mark to help us identify which one it is. This is a 1974 $1, and a quick search will tell us this is 40% silver. After the purity, the weight will also be published about this coin, so we'll easily be able to tell exactly how much silver is contained in this coin. And next up, we have some miniature ones. When we take a look at these tiny coins, you'll actually find the denomination on the lower right side, 20 pence, as well as King Charles III across from it. This shows that it is a British coin, And we can see here it says Britannia, as well as 1/10 ounce silver and 3 nines. That's the purity. So since this is denominated and marked, this is a bullion coin. These are 1/10 of an ounce, and usually the smaller you get, the higher the premium. However, depending on the demand in the market, these could be as low as the regular premium for the respective coin. And actually, the reason I picked up the Eisenhower dollar is because it actually fits a hole in this album that I've been filling. So if you guys have inherited or are looking into these albums, they're a great way to organize your collection, and usually in the book it'll tell you which ones are silver. If not, it's a quick Google search away from finding out which ones are actually containing silver. So for those of you that are interested, there are only 10 Eisenhower dollars that contain 40% silver, and this is my 5th one in this date run. I do have a few other ones that are duplicates of the same dates, but books and albums like these only hold one per date and mint mark. So I'm now halfway through my collection of silver Eisenhower dollars, and hopefully I'll be completing this soon. You can now write me at Joseph's Reserves, 10160 Highway 242, Suite 800, number 401 in Conroe, Texas, zip code 77385. Make sure to include your information so I can write you back. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Go down to the comment section for any comments or questions. Please subscribe or share the video. But most of all, thank you so much for watching, and just remember, every ounce adds up. So no matter how small, just keep stacking.